this back over here. Ah, wrong thing. Alright. I think it's streaming now. I should probably know because I think Chrome will start yelling at me even though it's muted. But I think that's just how Twitch works. You did it last time. Let's see if it does it again. I'm curious. Oh, no, it didn't. This time it was actually muted. That's good. Okay, so hello everyone. By everyone, I mean just me, of course. Although I guess last time we did have two people stop by, which was amazing. Um, so the itinerary for today is sort of take a step back. We're not going to be doing exactly what we were doing last Thursday. We're actually going to be doing a couple of refinements um, to the first two levels again, but not the exact same ones. So let me actually open up. Scenes, intro, sewers. Yeah, we'll go sewers first. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I forget, I was supposed to show you the labyrinth last time, and I completely forgot. So I will do that now. It was just a nice little treat. If it's okay, it's loading. Wow, that's taking a long time. That's probably not good. Hmm. I don't know why it's taking so long. I didn't think it was that bad, but then again, there's a lot of stuff in here. There's quite a bit of geometry. I think, can I look at it and it'll tell me? And none of it's batched because it's scaled. I think, actually, is it scaled? No, no, it's not scaled. At least I hope not. If it's scaled. Yeah, it's scaled. So I really shouldn't scale it at all. That's probably why it had such huge performance issues. But I can just show you real quick what it is. Um, oh right, I forgot it plops me into the center. There's not a spawn point. Actually, why don't I just add that real quick? Or there is one. Why didn't it? Oh, because it's at 0. Weird. Okay, well let's move you all the way back here. Turn off mouse or screen wrapping for my mouse because it's more distracting than helpful. Okay. So this is one of the later stages in the game. Um, you can actually get to it. This is one of the areas that you can get to from the cave hub. It's actually going to change. Oh, it's okay. It's actually going to change. The entrance isn't going to come in from the side here. This was just how it was originally. Um, but what I am actually going to end up doing is having the entrance come in on the other side of the maze, and then you'll be able to walk over the entirety of the maze to get a sense of its scale and to sort of plot out your route. And then you'll have a set of stairs that put you down right here at the entrance. So that way you don't necessarily get lost, and you still have this huge sense of scale. It's also going to have fog, which I think I turned off because I was doing a demo of this at one point. Let me see if I can turn it on, make it look okay. I'll turn it off for now. Because it's supposed to be really dark down here. And fog, or black fog, just helps sort of simulate that darkness, similar to what we did in the caves, but probably a little thicker. So there are a couple of places that you can go around here. You might have been able to see we have a little tower over there, and it's actually a waterfall coming from one of the other areas. And I wanted there to be some interactivity between the levels, so the sub-error here is sort of where that comes to a head with stuff like this waterfall that has no sound yet. Water is just pouring down from it, and it will stay like that until you do something in the Terralakis, the underground lake area, to stop this water, at which point there will be a huge trident that's a treasure for you to grab. Yeah. Let me see if I can get around to a nice nice area. The problem is, like, even though I know where everything is, it's still a really large map. So actually, I might. It'll be faster to stop and play again. Need to have some sort of like no clipping mode. That would probably help things along pretty quickly. But I don't really use it, I guess, except in extreme situations like this. Yeah, it's meant to be sort of more visually interesting, just because you have the corridors. I guess actually visually interesting isn't the correct term because it's so repetitive. Or not repetitive, that makes it sound bad. It's deliberately the same. Alright. I forgot about that sound effect. So this is actually one of the puzzles, which I don't have the puzzle hint set up. I mean, the puzzle is active. So if you do the correct... oh, I did not do the correct one. I forgot. And I fell to my death. Well, I won't explain too much of it, I guess. But the idea is that you jump from pillar to pillar to solve the puzzle and spell something out, sort of like Indiana Jones style. And if you step on the wrong one, it turns off your sequence, and you have to go back to the beginning to reset it. And that audio was just a test to make sure that the audio was working. I wanted it to play a little audio sound, that way you know that you've connected to a path, or to a pillar. And then once you spell out the correct sequence, it will do this. It'll unlock this barrier that is holding on to an item that you need to solve the maze. And I won't go into the other ones. There's a couple of secret rooms that are hidden by fake walls, stuff like that. And of course, the maze itself spells maze. I might expand this to make it a little easier for people to see. But it spells maze. And that was incredibly time-consuming to model out the word maze inside of a maze. But it works, and it looks pretty recognizable. I mean, you can see maze. Of course, no. Well, no. That's the reason I think I wanted to have people come in from above. I wanted them to actually see that it spells maze. Although, well, yeah. But yeah, that's sort of a sneak peek at the labyrinth. That's an area that I'm working on alongside the caves and the magma river and all that stuff. This was just sort of the first large scale level that I've built out. And I might actually end up redoing it a bit, or probably entirely, honestly, just so I can get cleaner geometry for one, and also I was worried that, simply walking around in a maze might not be interesting enough. So I might try doing something with periodically a giant grue comes out of the walls and you have to get to a specific point to be safe. I might do that. I don't know. I think that would be interesting and keep it a lot less, just dum walking, and more, like actually trying to find specific areas. But yeah, that's the labyrinth. It's a rough start. It's nowhere near being completed, but it's still coming along pretty nicely. Okay, so let's go back to the intro sewers. Okay. So we're actually going to do a couple of basic refinements to this. So since these first two levels, the castle quarters and the sewer area here, are the first two levels of the game and are also the levels in the demo, I want to try and make them as intuitive as possible and as varied as possible. So we were doing stuff earlier with, with the troll and the knife, to make things a little more interesting, to show the hand that you specified is the hand you hold things in, small stuff like that. But at the same time, something I want to do is I want to try and change up how item placement is being taken care of. So the dagger that you used to kill the troll with, I would like that to be in the chest, and the key that the chest currently has. And I'll go to the castle quarters. My computer is running slow. Don't know why. It's probably just the heat, admittedly. I probably should turn on the AC. But I'm so cheap. And it would be very loud because my AC is right next to me. Yeah, so right now there's a key to the sewer exit in this chest. And what I would like to do is just exchange that key with the dagger that you can use to defeat the troll, and then place the key from this chest inside, or not inside, probably somewhere in the sewers. So maybe, I don't know, here, right in front of the dark area. Actually, that might be a really good idea, to have the key not in front of the dark area, but slightly inside of it. So enough that when, let me see if I can start walking around. Enough that when people come up here, what? Can I mute audio? I think I can. Or can't. Mute audio. There we go. Enough so that when people come up here, they will enter the dark area, but stop because the key would be right here. And the benefit of that actually is that right now it's set up. I tried to set it up so that if you were sprinting, you would still have enough time to react and stop running, due to the sudden visual cue of your reticle turning purple and the it's dark, you are likely to be eaten by a grue. But I don't know. It's hard to judge because I'm sort of biased. It's hard to judge with my own reaction time since I know where it is. So there could be some subconscious, interference there saying like, okay, I got to let off now, as opposed to a first-time player or someone with slower reflexes than obviously my lightning fast reflexes, that would just keep going until they hit the kill screen. So I think placing the key right about here would do a good job of stopping people because they would want to stop to pick up the key, but it would be close enough that they would realize, or they would still get the warning and they wouldn't start sprinting in here again. Yeah, I think that actually would be a nice bit of refinement there. And that also will discourage people from trying to use it on the other door, the locked door in the first room. Although I probably just need to change. I'll show you what I mean. I don't think I have another hero prefab up there. If I do, it's going to be seen double. Good, I don't. So this first door is meant to be the door that's connected to the castle that you're being held captive in. That's why I put it there. But it's too confusing to players because they'll always try to take the key from this chest and then use it on the door over here. So a lot of players will come over here and be like, and say unlock, or unlock with key, or use key on door. Everyone tries to do that, and even after repeatedly being told like you can't unlock it from here, you'll still have people try and like insert key, which drops it for now, and I want to address that. Maybe I'll address that tonight, actually, because that was some bizarre workaround to get chests working properly, and I don't think I need to do that anymore. And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that people try, which means that this door is just too confusing. I need to have something else here that you just can't even interact with, probably. Just something that blatantly says, you can't go this way, go a different way. I guess I could have some fun with it and just have it like bricked up with a different type of stone, and you can still interact with it, but it says that it's been bricked off because you're under house arrest or something like that. Dark humor, that's kind of it's kind of my thing. So, I don't know. I'll mess with that, see what I can do there. But that's one of the reasons I want to move that key out, because if you have a key and there's a locked door in the same room, you're going to try to use the key on the door. That's just human nature. So that was actually a design oversight on my part, um, and I would like to correct that. So, um, so yeah, we're going to be messing with item placements today. Sort of just doing a little nice touch up and polish. We might even come up with some stuff for the water because a lot of people, when they get into the sewers, they want to interact with the water. And I just hadn't considered that, honestly. No reason not to do that. Um, yeah. Okay. So let's start with a couple of things. Mono develop. And let's go to item ID because we are going to remove small dagger, and it's going to replace thief's knife. Thief's knife, which I think is proper syntax. Because there's a lot of these sort of stuff that I threw out way at the beginning of development. Yeah, this stuff with like Hero Sword, Tempered Brand, Bloody Caliber, and Holy Edge was going to be. Vulcan Blade, was that a separate thing? I think it was. No, maybe it wasn't. Pretty sure that it's not. Anyway, it was going to be sort of like upgrading the hero sword that you can get later on in the game, which is going to be your sort of main weapon, because it's sort of supposed to be this like Legend of Zelda Master Sword sort of thing, where you find it in the forest in a pedestal and you take it with you, and it's the sword of legends and all that stuff. And I wanted to upgrade it by having you insert it into specific things. So there's going to be like a magma pool or something in the magma river that you could insert it into, and it would come out the tempered brand. So it would be a heated sword, which means it would serve as both a weapon and a light source. So you're going to be able to use that to do very specific things. Like there would be some puzzles that required you to use a sword and have a light equipped, but you can only have one equipped at a time. So you'd have to have, the tempered brand. And the bloody caliber was going to be if you killed. This is back when I was going to have a lot of boss fights and more real-time combat. But if you killed one of the bosses, and it was actually going to be a Yurgru, I think, then it would become the tempered brand would become the bloody caliber, which would do more damage and all this extra stuff, but it wouldn't glow anymore. And then if you purified that in the lake, the underground lake, you would get the holy edge, which would sort of be like the man, why can't I remember its name? The name's escaping me at the moment. The sword that Frodo has from Lord of the Rings that glows blue when orcs are near is going to be that, except it was just going to be like the tempered brand again, where it'd be a light and a weapon at the same time, so it would glow blue whenever you went into the dark. It was going to glow blue around grooves, I think was the thing. But more or less, I think I'm going to scrap that system, just because it serves no real purpose besides just being an aesthetic change. I think I am going to keep the tempered brand idea, so you'll be able to upgrade the hero sword to a sword that is both a weapon and a light. But aside from that, I don't think I want to do anything else, just because having a weapon and a light at the same time will actually be useful for puzzle solving. But the other stuff really won't. So yeah, tangent. Don't know why, but and of course you have I guess there's a couple of other not so much spoiler, but other stuff you can see in these. Like we have the seal stones. These are going to be stones that you get to unlock the way to the undercastle from each area. I might actually change them because I was originally going for a theme thing, like water, magma, and shadow stone. I might change it to more of a like. I mean, it's no less stereotypical, I guess, but like a heart, body, soul thing. Have like a. Well, yeah, I won't go into that. It'll be better to not explain my reasoning for that, I guess. But yeah, just some random stuff. Man, I feel like I'm sort of not focused tonight. What else am I gonna do? Oh, right. One of the things I wanted to do was change. So in Sierra mode, I don't remember if I've explained this before or not. I've explained it so many times in person to people that I forget whether or not I've said it on during specific times. So Sierra mode is meant to be like the hard mode for this game. And in Sierra mode, you can actually break items by accident. So if you like try to use the wrong key on the wrong door, the key will break, and the game could become unwinnable if that was an important area that you had to get into. Um, which I know some of you, or which I mean none of you because no one's watching. Which God, again the confidence thing. Anyway, so that might sound like a terrible design choice, but it's hard mode. It's not meant to be easy. So normal mode is meant to be intuitive and not easy, but rewarding to do certain things and experiment. But Sierra mode is meant to just be unabashed, 70s, 80s adventure game style where you do the wrong thing once, you're done. You just lost. um, it probably, I mean, you'll lose, but you'll be able to reload your save at least. Although I might just make it where in Sierra mode you can't even save; you have to do it all in once. That would be funny. I should look into that. Um, that would be really funny, actually. Um, but yeah, I need to change how that works because right now it's sort of this clunky. The item itself isn't the thing that breaks itself if it's used wrong. It's the thing it was used on that breaks it. And I don't really like that. So, I mean, I guess that's probably the best way to do it based on the way it's set up. The system is set up, but no, we won't worry about that right now. We're gonna do some quick interactions. I'm gonna fill in some fun CSV data, which Text Quest, the only game in the world where we work with spreadsheets all of the time because that's where all of our content comes from. Um, so Castle Chest. So it's going to contain actually a small dagger. I don't think I need to do anything else because yes, because it automatically or you don't list the contents in these sheets. The game automatically parses that from its actual contents, which is nice. So let's download this as a CSV. I really need to look into getting that XML thing set up. I'm actually working on a XML parser right now to make XML parsing a lot easier for me. Because right now, save states and stuff are saved out as XMLs, but they're saved out in one of the most like clunky ways where everything gets thrown together as you're saving, and it's just not great. So change this to a small dagger as well. This. So XML, I think, is the way that I'm gonna just do a lot of data storage. I could do JSON. I already have a working JSON parser. It probably would be easier to do JSON. But I feel like XML is just a little bit more readable. But I guess there's no real reason to worry about it because people aren't meant to read or aren't really going to look at these things. Um, yeah. I might actually look at parsing over to JSON instead, if that's not a terrible thing to try and do. I don't think it will be, but so that should all be fine. Did I have? Oh, let me guess. I probably put it back in the sewers, didn't I? Or did I? Oh, this is the copy of item template. Is this the... Huh. I must have started to... Oh, right. I didn't actually make the content for it. I just... Yeah. Small... Oh, not knife. Crap. What did I call it? Dagger. Dagger. Knife. Blade. That's probably fine. Yeah, and as I've explained before, the names thing, the first name is really the most important of the names because any of the names that come after the first name, they can be in any order you want, but the first name is what's used when you display the item. So if you look at your inventory right now, it would display small dagger. Dagger, knife, and blade are just used so you can refer to it as that. You don't have to call a small dagger. You can just call it dagger or knife or blade, and it would work just fine. So we could call it not gatter, dagger. Really hope that like gatter isn't some swear word in another English country or something, because I know that Britain and America have different terms. They mean different things, like or arse, not blade. uh, Description for object: a small dagger. Simple. Text color. Should it be gray? I don't know. All of my swords all my bladed weapons are gray because of the steel. That's the most prominent color, but I feel like brown would probably be fine. Um, Adjectives: small, dagger, type. No, equipable. Right, false. Verbs. Oh, no, I want to keep that. Get rid of these. These things are good as defaults. Combine, it's not going to combine with anything. Wave. Meh. I guess I could say like a maniac. I don't know why I found that funny, but I did. Insert, extract, those don't need to work. Don't need these to be like that anymore. I can just call them default fails. Open! All of these things can be default fails. Don't need to do speak, insult. It's a dagger, so small dagger. What do I want to say? Dagger. What's a good pun for a dagger? We can start with you tell the object name dagger, huh? I guess you don't have to necessarily use dagger. It can also be anything sort of related to it. It stabs people in the back. Oh, there we go. That is the backstabber. There we go. I'm happy with that pun. Well, that's not a pun. That's wordplay, I think. Play on words, I guess. Because a pun would be like if I forced the dagger into the phrase somehow. Like you tell the dagger that I don't even know. I can't think of a pun with dagger, which shows my punning skill. Let's see. Rest, move, fail, hit. Hit dagger. Hit dagger. What are you gonna say for that? On the spot, so I freeze up. I'm just like, you gotta be good, but you can't. There's nothing to do. That's a lie. There's always something to do, and I just can't think of it at the moment. Hit the dagger. Just about to say no talking, which is a reference to. You know that's fine. Well, no, that's too close to you tell the. Yeah. There's going to be a reference to Devil May Cry, Agni and Rundra, when Dante smacks their hilts together and says no talking. Man, bad day for this, huh? I guess you could always just default to the ever popular feel better, or that'll show it. feel like that's just the easy way out, though. Examine. Your belt, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to say like coat or something. I don't know what would you carry a dagger around in normally. Uh, is small enough to comfortably carry. Mm, sharp to. Hmm. I say something along the lines of kill the troll to hint that you can kill the troll with it. Um, hmm. Hmm. Sharp enough to cut troll fat. No, that sounds a little too. Blah. Um, I don't want to just sort of blatantly say what it is, but I would like to hint at it. And also say cut troll fat. I feel is a little too. I don't know what the appropriate term for it is. Too visceral for it. Because I want to keep descriptions lighthearted, and any descriptions that are supposed to be somewhat disturbing need to be veiled in their disturbingness. um, just because I personally enjoy that level of detail where you can add in interesting things or violent things into your otherwise rather saccharine game, but it's hidden behind sort of that veil. So people who dig deep enough will see it, and they'll sort of be like, "Whoa, that's kind of messed up." Um, yeah, small enough to comfortably carry, which actually I don't like that. Comfortably is not a good middle word. It slows you down too much. To carry comfortably. And sharp enough to. Man, stuck again. It's like writer's block, but for CSVs. Sharp enough to. It should be a little bit or a little more alliteration. I think. Carry comfortably and sharp enough to kill conveniently. Except that's with a C. Um, kill quickly with a K and a K. um, sharp enough to. Hmm. Small enough to carry. Uh, Not crazy about this. Um, Sharp enough to. Man, I've been on this for like what 4 minutes. Just can't think of it. Sharp enough to. Eh, cut any creature. Small enough to carry comfortably and sharp enough to cut any creature. I like that. Read. Nope. 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 Eat. Don't need to do anything. Okay, so yeah, all that stuff's fine. Let's go ahead and download this. Separated values. Separated values. I am definitely going to look into getting my Google script working properly, because I hate having to download 4 sheets. It's so much easier if I could just download one. Okay, let's go back to here. Data, interactions, interaction data, intro, Castle. Do I have? I don't. Weird. Okay. Create folder. Small dagger. Actually, small dagger I feel is a bit redundant. Because, I mean, a dagger is a small blade already, so shouldn't a small dagger be like a smaller dagger? Like really a tiny knife? No need to think too hard about it, I suppose. Small dagger, drag all this stuff in here. Delete this. And let's go ahead and go back to castle. And what was it? Castle chest. Oh, it hid behind things. I hate it when it does that, when it doesn't pop up at the very front. Because it makes me think that I didn't do it properly. Delete those things. Okay, so that should be fine. So all those things should import. Good. Which means that I can pull this stuff in there. Info. Item checks. Verbs. And word checks. Update. Let me make sure that I added dagger to my dictionary. Pretty sure I did. I don't know if I've downloaded the dictionary and added it yet, though. Let me see, dagger. Yes, I have dagger and daggers. Okay. Let's download this. Just update it. Interaction data, interactions data. Dictionary, go down here, that over here, replace, delete this, yep. All over the place. And dictionary, update, okay. Always enjoy updating my dictionary. So we're almost to 500 words. So that's how many words my game recognizes as words for objects and such. And I'm willing to bet probably by the end I'll have at least 750, I would think. I might even have 1,000 if I'm like really verbose. But a lot of that is, admittedly, a lot of that can be duplicate stuff. I have to have a word for the singular and plural, and it's a word for the singular noun and a second word for the pluralization of that noun. So like knife is one word and knives is a second word. But still, I mean, even including all that, I probably still have at least about 400 words. I doubt that I have even 100 duplicate plural singular pairs yet. Okay, so that stuff's in there. Apply on you. So, actually, no. It'll apply again. Okay. So we can delete you. And now we are going to go to item database, sewer key. Oh, man. That's... right. Well, actually, no, that's not too bad. I was worried for a second there that... so the sewer key, when you examine it, it says the key smells somewhat foul. And that was meant to be sort of paired with if you try to sleep on the bed, in the castle quarters, it'll tell you you're not tired enough to sleep through the smell coming up from underneath the bed. And that was meant to pair, or those two were meant to work together to say like there's something under the bed, you should get under there. Um, I think it'll be okay. I think the bed by itself will help do that. Oh, and that was the other thing is one of the smaller things I needed to do. I might keep it as is if I can find the scenes. Intro castle quarters. So something that a lot of people have had trouble with is solving this curtain puzzle where you just have to walk over to the curtains and open them up, and there's a lever here for you to pull. A lot of people have missed those curtains, like they just don't go over to them. Um, and I had this divide between the curtains that makes it a little more visually apparent that there's something behind them. Um, because originally they were actually like right up against each other and you couldn't even tell. The only thing was that these curtains were drawn and none of the other ones were. I debated moving these curtains over to this wall, so it's a lot more obvious that they're closed. But I feel I feel like that's making it too easy. I don't want to make the puzzles so easy that you just can look at them and understand immediately what you're supposed to do. I want people to be able to look at puzzles and, after working at them a bit, understand what they're supposed to do once they have all the information, maybe. But stuff like this, it's a 1-2 step puzzle, and making it just so obvious where it is and what to do is too much. I think there should be at least some challenge. And since this is the first level, I really should be encouraging people to pay attention to their surroundings. So I think I'm going to leave it as is, actually. Um, so it's a way to train people to always keep your eye open for some small innocuous element that looks out of place, even if it doesn't seem like it'll do much. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that as is, actually. Let's go back to the sewers, although I do need to update this. Right, that should be fine. God, I gotta change how some of this stuff works, because some of this stuff is pretty nasty. Um, Sorry about that. Containers, anything really that has to do sort of very specific functionality, it gets kind of awkward because I mean, everything derives from interactable object, but sometimes you need things to do very specific things. Like container has to have contents, and doors have to open and close and be locked and all this stuff. And you got to treat verbs a little bit differently with them. It gets a little nasty, but I couldn't really think of a good way to do it. Because you always want them to be able to fall back on those base functions. I wonder if I can just find a better way to do it. But for now, I'm not going to worry about it. And I think actually, let's go to the Castle Sewers because I have a prefab here. I'm just going to test the chests. So if I open this up, hit a small dagger, take dagger, examine small dagger. Okay. Hold dagger. Oh, I can't equip the small dagger. Why can't I equip the small dagger? Let me guess. I wonder if that's a preference thing. Whenever I play a scene, Unity closes all of these folders, and I don't know why. It annoys the crap out of me, though. Prefabs, interactions, items, intro, dagger. Should also call that small dagger. Save that. Oh. Did I spell equipable wrong here, or did I spell it wrong in my spreadsheet? I would like to know. I would have thought that it was 2. Huh. No. And equipable is not a word. Okay, but equipable. Right. Weird. Right, so I misspelled equipable in my. Go figure. Let me change this actually then. Rename. Probably gonna mess up a lot of things, but it's fine. I have to go through and re-update things anyway. I am not the best speller in the world, which is not great considering I'm making a game that's very much based on having good spelling. Um, I've actually had a couple of playtests where people tried typing in the correct spelling of a word, and it was wrong because it wasn't the way I spelled it, um, which is not good. Um, if someone types something and it's correct, it should definitely work all the time. Um, but the problem with working in Google Spreadsheets is it doesn't check your spelling. So I don't have access to my wonderful computer overlords that know how to spell everything properly. Oh, right, I gotta go back here. Open, take all, hold the, well, let's try knife. Yay! It's still backwards, which is weird. Why are you still backwards? Where? So this is set to be correct. Right, turns that off. But the model is weird. Oh, that's why. Okay, right. So small dagger is that. Let me look for treasures. No, equipable weapons. Sword. I think. Right. That's why. I need to specify the rotation of 180 in the Y. So now if I try that, it should be correct. I think I also need to. Oh, that's really. Hold on. That is a usability thing that I thought I fixed. Interactions. I might have just done it in the editor though. That is entirely conceivable. Small dagger into items. Castle chest. Castle chest hard. Verbs. No. Okay, weird. Verbs here then. This is too cumbersome for you to carry. Okay. Well, let me check that. That's really weird. So verbs take. Huh. Weird. That's really strange. Take add to inventory. Huh. What did I put it somewhere? Did I put it in the wrong place? That's really weird. Okay, I guess I'll try downloading this again. Oh, well, no. I mean, that's right. I didn't download the verbs last time, but I shouldn't have needed to. It should have been in there. Weird. Okay. Well, I mean, let's do this again. Let's go to data, interactions, interaction data, intro, castle, and chest. Over here, replace the files, destination. Back here and then delete these. Let's go back here. Yeah, weird. Okay. Huh. Very strange. Just need better editors, I think, because this is all just using Unity's default editor with some buttons up at the top. And it looks so nasty and confusing. I mean, it's all done through data anyway, but I'd like it to be human readable. That way it's easier for me to look at these things. But I also need to get rid of specific items. I'm 90% sure I'm not using it. Okay, let's try this one more time. That was a completely not necessary fix. Well, I mean, it was necessary. It's a usability thing. So right now, if you type open and you see that there's a dagger inside of the chest, most people just type take because they assume that'll take the dagger. But actually, it's going to try and take the chest. And if I don't specifically say that you're trying to take the chest, people just get confused and they think that you can't take the small dagger for some reason. So I explicitly say that the chest is too heavy, and that informs people that they need to say, like, take knife, or take whatever. So now I have that. Okay. So now if I were to hold knife. There we go. Although I think I need to change my equip position to be a little bit further right. Because it's kind of hanging around in the middle of the... That's fine. So we go back down here, which actually will not work because I have a second hero prefab down there. But, that's fine. So that means that now that the knife is in that chest, we're going to put the key over here and see what we can do with it. And then I think we'll do some quick stuff with water to try and make it more interesting. And quick fun little fact. If you look closely at the water, you'll notice that it says water. Originally, I was actually going to sneak in I was going to try to sneak in the word poop because I'm 5 years old secretly. But I couldn't come up with a good way to do it because the actual texture is 512 by 512, which makes it a square, and it's basically it would just be this. So if I had the word poop anywhere, you would just see it so often that it would not be funny. Like I really would, if I was going to do it, I would have to make it just incredibly transparent so that you could almost not see it unless you were really looking for it. Or I would have to make this texture a lot wider, like make it 1024 by 512 or 1024 by 256, and then have the word poop in there. Put way too much thought into this, I think, for a man my age. But button poop. Yeah, 5 years old, secretly. Don't tell anyone. Okay. Oh, man. I'm kind of glad that no one's watching because that really would be embarrassing. Except I'm going to archive this stuff for people who want to watch it anyway. Okay. Yeah, anyway. I'm also going to go ahead and add a tab for enemies here. Keep your hierarchy clean, kids. That's how the cool kids do it. And items, actually. Then move logic up to the top. And environment up to the top. And lights up to the top. Because I like things to be in specific orders. Okay, items. So this will be our sewer key. Sewer key is initially not going to be enabled. Let's look at that. And right, I almost forgot how my own system works. So let's move you over there. Hit F. Move down. Move down. Okay. Then we're going to rotate -90. I don't think I can do one full down. I cannot. So I'm going to assume it's probably like 3.5 or something. 3.74. So 3.7, I think it'll work. collision is a trigger, right? Yes, it is. Good. Yeah, small stuff like keys, you want those, or I want those to be triggers, because if they're regular colliders, then you can walk into them and just you'll stop moving, which will just confuse people because you'll have this tiny key on the ground stopping you from moving. So I can actually, I think, go 725. Will be a little bit. Yeah, it's better. And then move it like 33.25. So it's in there slightly. I like that. Let's give it a little bit of a rotation though. So 0.2. Well, no, not 2. It's going to be in full degrees, wouldn't it? 15. Negative 30. Actually, I shouldn't do that because I think that's the rotation I use for the. Let's go like 10. I think that the negative 30 is close to the rotation I use for the wax key in Sierra mode. I don't want all of my keys to just have like negative 30 rotation. But I also don't want them to be straight because that looks like they were deliberately placed there, which they were, of course, by me. But I would also like it to look like this one was dropped. So that's that. And then what we're going to do is just make a empty game object, move that down here, and then delete our key. So the reason I did that is because this is going to be... so each level has a level manager game object here, and it can spawn specific items. So let's not hold the edge. Sewer key, which is it's iron key. Right, I need to rename that to iron key so that I don't get confused. No difficulty. Spawn point is sewer key. Data variable ID is... oh, man. I really need to automate this stuff. I think it's just... I say iron key. I think affected data IDs. That should be fine, I think. Alright, difficulty toggles, that's fine. Although, just to be safe, I'm going to take a look at the Castle Quarters one, because it has one. Let's rename this Castle Quarters. Not Quartz. Quarters. Yes, that's right. Semantic saturation there. I thought quarters was spelled wrong for a second there. It might be. Again, my terrible spelling very easily could make it be spelled wrong. Items, here we go. Right, okay, so I don't know why I don't just make the data variable ID the item ID to string, because that's almost always what it's going to be. Yeah, I just change that. Okay. I actually need to update how I do that, too, make it a little easier on myself. I have a good way to do that now that I know how to. Yeah, so for now, Castle Quarters, that's fine. So the sewers, so that should be fine if I play, even though there is no key here right now. What it'll do is at the beginning of the level, when you enter, it'll request it from the pool. And then, nope, it didn't place it. Why didn't it place it? What happened? What did I do wrong? What have I done? Items? Oh, we got another reference. Oh. Wait. What? So it's null reference because it's not finding the thing it's looking for, I think. Go to data, interactions, item database. Should be sewer key. I was going to call that iron key. I think I named it sewer initially so that I knew what it was for, but It's just too confusing to have them both be like that. That's also initially enabled. Turn that off. Small dagger instead can be initially enabled. Okay, so let's try that again. Figure out why. I mean, like the iron key is an iron key. Oh. Wait, why do I have an iron key and a sewer key? Well, that's... God. That's just confusing on my part. I must have put iron key in there as like a... Yeah, that was back when I was just throwing random stuff in there that I thought I was going to use later. Um, ugh. Gotta get rid of that. That's too confusing. Except I probably actually should call this iron key. Fine. But for now, I'm just going to do sewer key and rename this to sewer key. So let's try that again. Yeah, small stuff like that gets me where I know it should work. So yeah, it's nice. You can see it coming up, and then yes, and it's nice and very apparent because when you look at it, it's a giant cross saying like, "Oh, look, it's pink. Don't go in here." Um, yeah, and I chose that pink color because it's incredibly obvious that it's different. I was originally going to try something. I need to change the first-person controller. I hate that you can get stuck like this. It doesn't. Drives me crazy. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, because I was ready to try something like a slight change of color to like a dark brown or something. Um, no, that's not right. That's not what I was doing. What was I doing originally? Oh, originally it wasn't actually. Back when I had a health bar, I was changing the health bar to be purple instead. But the health bar was over at the top left, so you can see where my mouse is circling. It's going to be your vitality bar. But since real-time combat got taken out, I didn't really have a need for a health bar. I was going to use it to be sort of like a way to limit you in dangerous areas. So like if there was poison air or something, that would be how you would survive in it. But it's so conditional, or there's a word for it, and I just forgot it when I was trying to use it. It's so unlikely that you're really going to need, or it's unnecessary that you really need that vitality meter for so few things. So it makes no sense to have it for the rest of the game. So I took that out, and I actually like this better because now whenever you walk into a dark area, the middle of your screen turns bright pink and says, "You're in the dark, you're in the dark, do something." Um, and that is true even if you have a light source. It does that. So if you have a light source and you walk into the... Actually, I guess I can show you. Just trying to save that. Close these things. Let's go to scenes. And then overworld. Planes. This was the original first level of the game, and it's currently going to be the third, I guess. It's very much a sort of homage to Zork, because you start here in the middle with a cabin and woods and a canyon off in the distance. So I'm going to cheat and just do the wonderful thing that you can do in the editor, which is pause and move the character. So move you. Zoop. Boop. Take you. Hold. Lamp. Pause this again. I'm a ghost. So even when you go into the dark with a light, your middle cursor still changes to be pink. That way you can always know when you're in the dark and when you're in the light. When you're holding a light source. That way you can tell, here it's not safe to remove my lantern or to put it out, but here it is. So I could, like, if I'm in the dark, I could say, turn off lamp. Actually, can I say light? I don't remember if I called it that. I did. Hooray. Oh. It should have detected that I was in the dark, so that's an interesting thing that I got to fix. Because what should happen is the moment you turn off your light in a dark area, it should start a countdown, basically. for you have like 5 seconds to turn it back on, and then if as long as you're still in this menu, it's fine. But if you wait 5 seconds and then try to like leave it, or try to move at all, a Gru would eat you. So I wonder why I didn't do that. Maybe I have some weird case exception for this. But yeah, I want it to turn pink all the time, regardless of whether or not you have a light or not. Um, so you can tell when it is safe to remove or to turn off the light. Um, but yeah, I think that might do it for tonight actually, because it's been about an hour. Um, and yeah, we've done a lot. We got the dagger and the key reorganized, make it a little more intuitive for people, a little more interesting. And yeah, I guess we could try to get water in there tonight, but I'm obviously not doing very well at thinking up things on the spot tonight. Um, so okay, just making sure my mic was on and I wasn't just muttering into the abyss for the last like the last hour, which I probably was. But yeah, I think that'll do for tonight's dev stream. Um, and Thursday, I want to show you guys Thursday. Yeah, I'll have to think about it. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you guys something a little more interesting. Maybe show you progress on the caves level. That would be nice. Um, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot to stop for tonight. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.